The following program is the work of the broadcast students at the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT Magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland which were produced over the last week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their instructors.
Today on BCIT Magazine, a Burnaby strip mall is down in the dumps as people illegally dispose of their garbage.
The city of Burnaby is donating an old fire truck to a small town in Nicaragua.
And some BC sports fans have found a new team to cheer for. Hello, and welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Deborah Power.
And I'm Mitchell Sayers. Illegal garbage dumping is something no one likes to deal with. It's especially common in areas with little surveillance and where responsibilities are unclear. Ria Renouf brings us more about how one person's trash can become another person's nightmare.
Send these pictures to my boss.
Tony Apello Cruz monitors Kensington Square weekday mornings. It's his job to try and keep it clean for customers who will shop there. But there's one thing he's tired of dealing with each day: people who dump their garbage illegally.
Them knowing my hours now, they know when to drop off, more or less, and it's hard to stop them. And when you try to stop them, they become irate, angry, use profanity.
There's never a shortage of stuff in the area. He's seen it all, and it's always an eyesore.
We have an overflow of excessive furniture, mattresses, household waste. It overflows into the residential areas, but we actually have no room here for our own garbage.
The worst days for Apello Cruz are Monday mornings. He says that's because there's less maintenance on the weekends.
If you want to look at some of the garbage, none of the garbage belongs.
There's a pillow in
Yeah,
there.
there's pillows.
Burnaby's Kensington Plaza is one of the few places where customers are encouraged to enjoy the view while they shop. And while maintenance here at Kensington has reached out to the city of Burnaby to find aid for the dumping issue, it seems like the city won't play ball. Burnaby Councillor Paul McDonnell says the city welcomes complaints from those who see illegal dumping on both city property and private property like Kensington Square.
Well, some of it is education. Two is that, we encourage them to phone and let us know.
Confronting people in the act is something Apello Cruz would love to do. He suggested businesses install surveillance systems in the areas of concern, but the request is a losing battle.
Everybody who's actually told me to put the cameras up, or even a fake camera, they all know it would be a fake camera, but it is costly to have those services.
Trusting people to do the right thing is tough with the dumping Apello Cruz sees. Despite this, he'll continue to keep Kensington as clean as possible for customers to enjoy. Ria Renouf in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
And joining us now with an update on this story is reporter Ria Renouf. Ria, you've been monitoring the situation. What's the latest development?
Well, Mitchell, we've been in touch with Tony, who's really concerned about possible changes to the city of Burnaby's organic pickup processes. Now, we did speak to the city of Burnaby, who said that number one, such changes won't be coming for about a year or two, and number two, that the changes are only going to affect how the organic waste is collected, not what kind of organic waste is collected.
The city of Burnaby has been expanding. Are there any plans for more construction in the Kensington area?
Mitchell, there are plans to add a liquor store to the plaza, and while there was previously one in place, the concern now is that the foot traffic to the Kensington Square Plaza has increased. So Tony says it will be very important that they have a very good concrete plan in place to ensure that the waste stays minimized and that customers, residents, and the store owners are happy. Back to you in studio.
A Burnaby firefighter has found a way to give retired fire trucks a second life in South America. Burnaby is donating a 1986 model that is no longer up to date here, but is perfect for a small town in Nicaragua. Emily Lazatin has more on this story.
Eric Vogel is testing the lights and sirens on this fire truck. The Burnaby Fire Department captain is making sure it's in perfect working order. because it's ready to go on a South American adventure.
I'd been approaching the city over the years, and I'd been having my eye on a fire truck, and the opportunity came up for this truck, and I approached them again, and the city was all over it.
It heads to Nicaragua in the next couple months. Shipping was donated. Many fire departments in Nicaragua don't have access to modern equipment and have to make do on a slim budget of $2,000 a year. A group of BC firefighters wants to change that.
We had a meeting with all of the fire chiefs from across Nicaragua. In order to fulfill the needs, we'd be looking at probably about 37 fire trucks just to get them to a basic operating level.
This age of truck is good because trucks are a lot of electronics, a lot of parts and maintenance that would be probably unavailable for them down there.
This is the first time the city of Burnaby has donated a retired fire truck.
The last 3 trucks in Burnaby went to auction and ended up as film props. It's a huge industry, but it's such a waste of equipment that's badly needed down in all these countries. That this truck could probably get another 20 years of life down there.
Knowing the truck is going to be put to good use is one thing, but for this captain, it's all about the firefighters in Nicaragua.
It's really hard to describe. It empowers the firefighters, so for them to have a fire truck, the pride is indescribable.
This fire truck may be too old for the city of Burnaby, and its gadgets may be outdated. But for firefighters in Nicaragua, it gives them the chance to work with updated equipment so that they can better serve their community in a much safer and reliable way. Emily Lazatin in Langley for BCIT Magazine.
There are a few moments in life that are more satisfying than biting into a freshly baked pizza. But the chance to get a late-night slice of doughy goodness in Gastown on the weekends is becoming difficult. Ty Clark has the story.
For Saeed Slam, the majority of his income comes from late-night crowds on the weekend. But he says he's missing out on even more because the city forces Gastown restaurants to close by 2 a.m.
They say, look, I have kids, I have a family. They're taking the food from my kids. How are you going to pay rent? Weekdays, we have no business. We close 11:30, 12 o'clock, and open 12 o'clock. The morning time, nobody eats pizza.
While Hot Pie Pizza is open right now, it was closed all of last Saturday. Why? For selling a slice of pizza no more than 15 minutes after closing. Saeed estimates that costs him more than $2,000 in sales. Add that to rent that costs over $4,000 a month for this little shop, and Saeed is worried about his future.
Look like you're selling drugs here. We don't sell even alcohol here. We just make a living here.
No, I think as any location, I think with Gastown, if you leave, Portside at 3 o'clock in the morning, you should still be able to get a slice of pizza from, a private owner.
It's hard to believe that the simple sale of a piece of pizza 15 minutes after close on a Saturday evening had this pizzeria owner suspended. Now, if you look around, Gastown bylaws are allowed bars and clubs to remain open till 3, while pizzerias and other fast food restaurants have to close at 2. If you go 5 blocks down the street to Granville Street, those nightclubs stay open till 3 as well, but those pizzerias are allowed to stay open all night. Ty Clark in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
The Stanley Cup playoffs continue as the Habs and Bruins face off in round 2. The two teams have a long playoff history, meeting 34 times in the past. The Habs won 24 of those previous matchups. Although the Habs come into the series as the underdogs, they won 4-3 last night in double overtime. And with the Vancouver Canucks out of the NHL playoffs, many BC fans have started to shift their attention to an unlikely source. Justin Kwan has more on how some sports fans are taking their allegiances east and going prehistoric this spring.
The Toronto Raptors are becoming a regular sight inside of Vancouver bars. Manager of the Score on Davie, Keith Corbett, says Canada's only NBA team has been a big draw for the bar.
It's just exciting. People like seeing it when, Canadian teams especially do well.
Despite the failure of the Canucks, Corbett says business has been steady with teams like the Raptors in the playoffs.
I think sports fans get their fix kind of wherever they can. You cheer for your team when they're doing well. When they're not doing well, you're going to find somewhere else to potentially, fill that need.
8 seconds. Terrence Ross going.
Team 1040 Sports Talk host Blake Price says the rise of the Raptors has a lot to do with the likable personnel on the team.
A group of blue-collar kind of players for the Toronto Raptors with a little bit of style, a little bit of panache in there as well by guys like DeMar DeRozan. But I think that it has the ability, they've got the makeup to maybe be what the NBA wants them to be, and that is Canada's team.
We are the North Side.
Marketing campaigns and success of the team has Raptors merchandise hard to find for the first time in years.
We are pretty much out of stock. We're getting phone calls from people in here every day looking for Raptor gear, and we just can't get it back in the shop now.
Jackson says he hasn't seen this kind of demand since the Vince Carter era and doesn't see it slowing down if the Raptors manage to make a long playoff run.
So with the Canucks' future uncertain and no immediate plans for NBA expansion in Vancouver, it looks like more and more sports fans will be putting on these hats in the near future. Justin Kwan in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, a Burnaby dad is rowing around Vancouver Island to raise funds and awareness for autism. And Vancouver is trying to be a friendlier city for pollinator insects.
I chose BCIT because I know that all the programs are very hands-on. We have our own radio station. Like it's one of the best programs that I've ever heard of.
I am starting a job on Monday, so confidence is high.
Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be this fun.
A defining moment for me was when I finished my first internship and got lots of really great feedback from industry professionals.
I would have never imagined I'd be walking into the floors of TSN and thinking, I'm not a student anymore, I'm here to work.
I will be starting a job with an investigative news program in Toronto, and I'm really excited to see that grow into what will become, hopefully, my dream job.
BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work.
BCIT Magazine. The Row for Autism is a one-man expedition around Vancouver Island. Reporter Corey Correa spoke with the father of three who's preparing for this challenge.
Burnaby dad John Carina is about to launch this boat into Deer Lake. But this is just a practice for the summer when he will row 1,100 kilometers around Vancouver Island. He's doing it to raise funds and awareness for autism, something he knows about all too well.
7 years ago, my son, Brandon, who's now 9, was diagnosed with mild autism, and autism will be with him forever. And it's a spectrum disorder, so it affects everybody a bit different.
The fundraiser will benefit the Canucks Autism Network and ACT Autism Community Training. Together, they're creating a free online video library with sports coaching for parents and teachers.
John's vision of this project and with ACT is that we will provide online educational opportunities, videos to teach recreational professionals across the province, parents, how they can make recreational opportunities in their child's community happen so that instead of kids being turned away, they can actually have fun.
Brandon may have autism, but it doesn't stop him from playing his favorite sports.
I play soccer all the time. That's why it's great. That's why your muscle is strong.
Oh, nice goal.
Dad's going on rowing for autism.
The other night, we were just sitting there watching TV, and he kind of bombed out of bed and came around the corner, and he just, unannounced, just gave me this big bear hug, and he says, thanks for rowing around Vancouver Island for me.
John's journey around Vancouver Island will begin in June, and he hopes to complete the trip in 4 to 5 weeks. If you would like to support the cause, he set up a website at proshinsports.wordpress.com where people can donate. Corey Correa in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
A recent high school graduate is leaving behind his family and friends to volunteer with underprivileged youth in Toronto. My co-anchor Mitchell Sayers has the story.
Ryan Wise lives a comfortable life in a quiet North Vancouver neighborhood at the foot of Grouse Mountain. But this summer, he'll be trading all of the luxuries he's become accustomed to in order to travel to Toronto and help underprivileged children with the Urban Promise program.
Pretty scared, yeah. It's gonna be different, but it'll be a whole new experience.
The Urban Promise program offers a chance for young adults across North America to travel to areas affected by poverty and crime. It offers a rare direct opportunity to make a difference in a child's life. Ryan's youth pastor Brian Dean, who is familiar with the Urban Promise mission, says it's not about material donations or gifts.
What real poverty is having nobody to go to.
And so what Ryan will be doing is going and caring and investing his life and showing these kids that they are valuable, they are meaningful, they are loved. And that is the greatest gift that he can be giving. And that's the greatest gift that those kids can receive.
Pastor Dean has been a friend and mentor to Ryan for 6 years and noticed some qualities that made Ryan a good candidate for the program.
The more I got to know Ryan, the more I realized he is really compassionate. He has a great heart for other people. He cares deeply, which fits well with the Urban Promise program of going to help others and care for others.
The one-year program will have Ryan teaching in classrooms located in troubled, low-income schools. Ryan's mother believes the one-year trip will be a life-changing experience.
He's going to come back a changed guy, I think. I mean, for the better, for sure. So we've said to him, just learn as much as you can and be appreciative of the opportunity and just be true to who you are.
Ryan Wise leaves for Toronto in August, and lucky for him, the nice life he's accustomed to hasn't shaped his personality. He's just a caring teen looking to make a positive difference in the world. Mitchell Sayers in North Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Honeybees and other pollinator insects are slowly disappearing in the Lower Mainland. Honeybee keeper Joanne Platt looks after a beehive at a local community garden. Reporter Zach Singer met up with her at the hive and brings us the buzz.
These buzzing insects aren't just here to make honey. The work they do is an essential part of the ecosystem and food chain.
Well, it's anything from fruit trees, apples, peaches, pears, raspberries, peppers, tomatoes. They all need bees in order to be pollinated and to reproduce. If they weren't around, then I think it was 80% of the food that we put in our mouth wouldn't exist anymore.
Platt inspects the hive regularly to maintain its health and population.
So other things I'm looking for are signs that the queen is healthy. And if I don't see her herself, if I see eggs, that means she's been in there in the last 24 to 48 hours. You can see how she's got a much, much longer abdomen than the other one.
According to Platt, a healthy queen means a healthy hive, and a healthy hive means a healthy garden.
Kind of loosen this up here. These particular beans grow very tall and they get flowers all kind of up and down the stem, and we really rely on the bees to pollinate the flowers, otherwise you get no beans.
Honeybees like these are under threat due to urban growth and pesticide use, but the Vancouver Parks Board is stepping in to try and make a change.
So the Pollinator Project is this project we're launching in Vancouver to get people taking care of our pollinators in our city. The project is about getting people involved in planting pollinator gardens in their own yards, but also using our spaces in our parks like this beautiful community garden to provide habitat for pollinators.
By increasing the number of bee-friendly plants in the city, the Parks Board hopes to turn around the declining population. If the project is successful, it should eventually make the work of beekeepers like Platt a lot easier. Zach Singer in East Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Next on BCIT Magazine, with summer coming up, Vancouverites are hitting the water, but do they know what they need to stay safe? And we look into one Vancouver home that has been visited by something paranormal.
The most rewarding thing for me has been the relationships I developed in the program, both with instructors and classmates.
My sense of confidence has never been higher. I mean, this program's offered great opportunities to be in real world, real industry situations, and being in those moments and knowing I can contribute, I can do this.
It's exciting to be in this industry and to meet lots of great people and to make amazing friends.
BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, realizing your potential.
Standby graphics, ready, camera one.
If you want to experience the fast-paced world of news,
today on BCIT Magazine, striking,
make magic on a movie set,
frame,
and action, or bring your creative ideas to life, BCIT's hands-on training will get you started. BCIT Television and Video Production. Your possibilities start here.
Welcome back to BCIT Magazine. Well, the sun's been out all week getting Vancouverites ready for summer. Ty Clark joins us now as he soaks up the rays. Ty, does having this warm weather now mean we can expect a hot summer?
Well, Deborah, Alan Coldswell of Environment Canada has told us it's still too early to tell what the summer weather is going to be like. Now, with the warm air drifting up the California coast, the weather is actually relatively normal this kind of year, although there have been some record temperatures the last couple days. Deborah?
Ty, while this weather is great for sun lovers, can we expect it to stay for the weekend?
Well, as Coldwells has told us, the warm-up is short-term, and with yesterday being the hottest day of the year, there is more rain expected this weekend. So make sure to get those umbrellas up. Back to you.
Well, with this warm weather, more people around the Lower Mainland are getting their boats prepared for the water. John Hall went down to the beach to find out what new boaters should know.
It's a quiet morning on Burrard Inlet, but it is Canada's busiest shipping lane, and that means boaters need to take extra care.
90% of recreational boating fatalities happen to people who are not wearing PFDs. And you know, it can save your life. Make sure it fits properly, make sure it's in good condition, and if you got little kids on board, don't put them in an adult life vest, put them in one that fits.
Keeping your boat in good condition is important as well.
The biggest thing with boating is maintenance. There's a lot of things that I would be bringing my boat in for once a year, and that would be right at the beginning of the year and once at the end of the year. So basically twice a year I'd be bringing my boat in for service.
In addition to a life jacket, safety equipment you should have in your boat includes a rope, both day and night flares, and an air horn.
Emergency oars.
Delpatrum also recommends that you pack a basic toolkit including hose clamps if you can. You have to stay at least 50 meters away from any shipping boats as well. If you ever see any sort of marine emergency, you can call *16. Rescue officials also say that alcohol and boating don't mix.
Drinking and boating is can be a real problem. It's illegal. Some people think that it's acceptable to go out and fish and drink and then operate a motor vessel. It's not. It's the consequences can be deadly, and the law will treat it as equally with drinking and driving.
So don't forget, before you head out, make sure you've got your life jacket, your boat checks out, you let someone know where you're going, and leave the beer at home. John Hall, in Vancouver, for BCIT Magazine.
Longboarding season is underway. However, after several longboard incidents on the North Shore in the past year, questions have been raised about the safety of the sport. Hilary Newendon has more.
As longboarding continues to gain popularity in the Lower Mainland, some people are wondering, how dangerous is it? As well as a number of incidents on the North Shore last year, there was another one this month. This YouTube video went viral and caused an online debate. Many thought the officers went too far and could have killed the boarders. Others believe the West Van boarders shouldn't have been riding in the first place, since the sport is banned in that municipality. It is also banned on Skyline Drive and Glenview Crescent in North Van.
It's illegal to ride the longboard on here. I'm sick and tired of dealing with you. You understand?
In Vancouver, the sport isn't banned, but there is a bylaw in place designed to make the sport safe.
Basically what it says is you are permitted to skateboard in Vancouver, but there are certain requirements that you have to follow, and that includes you can't ride on a major street, so any street with a line that divides the road, you wouldn't be allowed to, so you can ride on any minor street in Vancouver. There are requirements in there that you can't ride recklessly or that would endanger yourself or somebody else, and you do have to wear protective equipment.
Jackson Hiltz manages Flat Spot Longboard Shop, a store catering to longboarders. He also agrees Vancouver longboarders mainly use their boards for transportation. He says when they do go down hills, they make an effort to stay safe.
We tend to get a lot more commuters. So generally that's people that are not really going down the roads trying to bust out slides for any stylistic effect. When we skate with spotters at each corner, and we certainly try and do things with an utmost respect for the road and the obstacles and dangers that go with it.
With increasing interest in the sport, a longboard track is in the making in Surrey. For now, boarders in Vancouver will continue to share the road with other commuters. Hilary Newendon in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Well, for skeptics of paranormal activity, this next story might change your mind. After a recent investigation of a Vancouver home, photos and audio captured some interesting evidence that may prove spirits exist. Kelsey Davis has the story.
Elaine Burke is a paranormal investigator with the Vancouver Paranormal Society. During a recent investigation of a Lower Mainland home, Burke and her colleagues captured some unique audio and photos of what appears to be a spirit in the home.
The energy goes near it, it will buzz. So one piece of equipment shows something. I always want to see if I can capture that exact same thing on something else.
Burke's investigation produced a number of photos like this one, what appears to be a spirit in the home's hallway.
So we're like, okay, let's point the camera down that way. And that's when this guy, he was huge, like he was a big man.
Along with the photos, audio equipment allegedly captured a conversation between Burke and the spirit. Listen closely.
Last time, someone was... Can you move from room to room? We introduce ourselves. Before we start any session, we'll say, you know, we're here just to document your presence.
Burke and her team use unique tools to aid in their investigations. A geophone attempts to pick up the spirit's vibrations, while a REM pod will allegedly light up when something goes past it.
Magnetic fields, like we automatically give off electricity. This is a laser grid, so if anything was to go through it or, you know, by it, we would see a difference in the pattern.
The Vancouver Paranormal Society have investigated several landmark locations around the city, including Playland, where their man-made haunted house was found to have actual paranormal activity. With Playland's opening less than 1 week away, guests may experience some unusual happenings. Kelsey Davis in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
If you have any questions or comments regarding this program, please visit us online at bcit-broadcast.com or bcitbroadcastnews.ca. I'm Deborah Power.
And I'm Mitchell Sayers. That's today's BCIT Magazine. Thank you for watching. We leave you now with more rowing footage from beautiful Deer Lake Park.